Hey guys, Monkeigh here, and in this video I'm going to show you some very simple tips to help you parachute faster to any location on the map in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The goal of the initial drop is to reach an area of the map with a lot of loot and few other players to contest with. The trouble is there are about 15 good loot areas and 100 players, so how can you make sure that you get to one of the good loot areas without having too many other players around? Let's start with some statistics. The thick yellow lines on the map represent 1 kilometer. The thin white lines are 100 meters. The cargo plane that players jump out of is traveling at 500 kilometers per hour and takes about 44 seconds to cross the entire map. The plane is flying at an altitude of 1.33 kilometers, which will vary slightly depending on the terrain below. Remember these numbers as they will become important later in this video. The first thing you'll need to do is time your jump. Picking the right moment to exit the plane is critical to ensuring you are the first to arrive at your destination. Most players try to jump at the point which minimizes the distance to their target. This actually will not get you on the ground fastest. You will want to jump about 3 to 4 seconds before you reach the point of shortest distance. This is actually the fastest trajectory to drop to your site. Let's look at an example. Say you want to jump to the small unnamed town to the northwest of Yasnaya. Most players would estimate the shortest distance like so. However, jumping a few seconds earlier means that you are only slightly further away, meaning your jump takes just a hair longer, but the few seconds earlier that you jumped means that you will be on the ground first. Now that you know how to time your jump, the next step is knowing when to pull your parachute and how far you can travel while parachuting. So depending on where you want to land, there are 3 different types of jumps that we will look at. The first and most obvious is for targets within 200 meters of the plane's trajectory. You will simply want to hit the ground as fast as possible here. The fastest possible jump time takes 36 seconds to hit the ground. Once you are forced to pull your parachute, you will travel roughly another 150 meters forward. Use this knowledge to time your jump and align yourself with the target. Most of the time, however, you will want to land at targets a little bit further away. For targets within 1.5 kilometers of the plane's trajectory, you can freefall the entire way without having to open your parachute early. This is where you will start to gain an advantage over other players. For these mid-range jumps, many novice players will open their parachute early, slowing them down. But if you know exactly how far you can travel without opening your parachute early, you will get on the ground first. When you are in freefall pointed directly forward, you will be traveling at 126 kilometers per hour downward and 128 kilometers per hour forward, which is just slightly faster than the maximum speed of a Dacia. The final jump type is the long jump. This is for targets between 2 and 3 kilometers away from the plane. Even a lot of intermediate players will not attempt to hit locations more than 2 kilometers from the plane's flight path because they do not feel they can make it. However, if you know the trick to gliding farther, you can reach up to a full 3 kilometers just by parachuting. And since the Erengel Island map is only about 6 kilometers wide, you can hit nearly any spot on the entire map if you know how to control your descent properly. The trick to maximizing your parachute distance is pulling your parachute immediately and tapping the W key to control your descent at around 25 kilometers per hour downward. Use this method and you can reach a distance of up to 3 kilometers in roughly 3 minutes and 45 seconds. When gliding in a parachute, you will be moving forward at roughly 48 kilometers per hour. This is important as it is much faster than players on the ground can run, but only about half the speed of most vehicles. This is where strategy comes in. For jumps longer than about 2.2 kilometers, players who jump straight down and grab a vehicle can reach the target location before the parachuter. Keep this in mind when going on long jumps and decide accordingly whether to go for a vehicle or parachute the entire way. So to recap, we now know that you can reach up to 1.5 kilometers from the plane without opening your parachute early. You can also reach up to 3 kilometers from the plane total by opening your parachute immediately and gliding at 25 kilometers per hour downward the rest of the way. And lastly, when timing your jump, calculate the point that is the shortest distance, then jump a few seconds before you reach that point. Using these 3 simple tips together will ensure you are always the first person on the ground at any location. If you're looking for more great ways to improve at PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I recommend you download the Ultimate Utility Companion app available for both iOS and Android. With exclusive detailed information about all weapons, armor, and vehicles, plus features like an interactive map showing vehicle spawns and social tools for finding duo and squad partners, the Ultimate Utility has everything you need to start winning more chicken dinners. Search the App Store for the Ultimate Utility or check out the links in the description.